if you want to be a swing trader, whether may it be on a intraday basis, may it be on a positional basis, may it be on a long-term basis, right? And why do I say that? Because ultimately, irrespective of whether you're buying and selling within the same day or over few days, few weeks, few months, or few years, you are ultimately doing swing trading. You are doing swing trading on different time frames, right? अगर आप long term investor हैं, तो what you're doing is swing trading, but on a long term basis. Why do I say that? Because even if you buy a stock for 5 years, if you're not buying low and selling high, what is really the purpose of buying the stock? What is the purpose of holding ownership in a company? Especially if you're an investor only and in the stock market, not for other reasons like it's your own company or you have ESOPs or it's tied to your employment, irrespective of those things. However, when I talk about swing trading in this specific session, we are talking about swing trading from a few days to a few weeks of holding. And why do I call it the best skill for you to develop in today's world? For that, let me take you to the chart of Abbott India. All right, so on this chart of Abbott India, what I want you to show is on this daily time frame. Okay, now I will show you some very simple observations as a swing trader on this chart. Let's make it full screen. Now you can see that between the period of, let's say from this bottom to this top, we can see a 40% move in the stock in a matter of 321 days, which is less than a year. Okay. For this purpose, I'm going to also maximize the price chart. Now, let's see what I as a swing trader would do here. I can clearly see that the stock has a tendency of taking strong support at the blue line. What is this blue line? This blue line is the 200 EMA of the daily time frame. Okay. And let's take a measure of the prices starting from the same starting point. And now I'm going to also change the color of this study so we can differentiate it slightly. Let's change its color so that it stands out to us a little bit more. So we don't want the border. We will keep the background to blue and we will change the label color as well to blue so that it stands out. And let's also add the lines so that you know exactly what movement I'm talking about. So this is the first move, okay? And how did I draw it? I drew it from the first point to the second point, to the highest possible point. Now here we are obviously taking into consideration the best case scenario for both long-term investing and both swing trading. Okay, the reason is that it makes our discussion simpler. Now what we are seeing here is that the stock of Abbott India, for instance, here has given an upside of around 40% in around 1 year of holding, right? And that is since it started a confirmed uptrend, which was, September onwards. Let's mark the other movement here. So we can see that the price broke above the 200 EMA, came back down to retest the 200 EMA. Now suppose he made a fresh entry here and we exited. This is 15% again. The stock came back down and stock went up again 19%. And now what we can see is the price has again come back down to the same level to start hopefully moving up. Now we don't know where it's going to go, so we'll not take into consideration. But on the basis of what we are seeing right now, let's do a quick calculation of where our returns stand. Okay, so before I move forward, one little pause. I can see some people are having issues on YouTube. So there is a backup link pasted in the chat. Feel free to click that. It's of the Economic Times platform where I hope the quality is better. And after the live session, if the quality continues to remain really bad, then I'm also recording the session and I will be recording it on the YouTube channel. So don't worry, you won't be missing out on the discussion that I'm doing. All right, let's go down to the calculator and do a quick math here, right? So we see 27%, it's 28 when we round off, but let's take the lower round off. Next, we'll add the 15%, and next we'll add the 19%, right? So what happened here? Buy and hold strategy, only for this upswing that we've seen so far, has delivered around 40% in the best case scenario over a period of around 1 year. Whereas if we are a swing trader, if we've done swing trading, then what results are we seeing? We are seeing a net of 61%, that too not participating in the downside. Why are we not participating in the downside? Because we want to focus our skill sets, we want to focus our attention on mastering one type of trading, that is a long side trading. When it comes to short side trading, the game changes, the rules change, and your analytical or your strength also gets divided. We don't want to do that. There's a reason we are not doing any kind of options trading or futures trading. We are only talking about trading in equity with a holding period of 5 days or 1 week to few weeks, with a return profile of targeting minimum 5% to 40% in every trade that we participate in, right? This best case scenario suggests that in a period of 112 days, the stock of Abbott India, and mind you, Abbott India is a large cap stock, okay, which means it's a massive stock. It doesn't move very fast a lot. Even if this stock is giving a 20%, 27% return, 112 days is around 3.5 months, 27% returns in 3.5 months. You exit if you enter optimally on the basis of analysis, as I just showed you. A simple support from the 200 EMA can also be your guide in some cases. It's giving a 15% return in the second case in just 1 month. You exit it in that period that you exit from Abbott India, you can go and find another opportunity. That's what I do for myself and my clients. We churn our capital, right? So in a month, we make around 15% around in Abbott India. And then when the stock is back to retest its support, we look at the momentum analysis, we look at the volume analysis, we look at the moving averages, where the key supports are. And when we see that the reversal is coming, we purchase the stock again with a very small risk reward, with a huge risk reward ratio and a very small risk, to make 20% in the next 2.5 months again. So what happens here is that some people, so there is a very valid argument against swing trading, that your transaction cost goes up and your tax payout increases. Obviously, because the long-term tax, capital gains tax, is a lot lower than the short-term capital gains tax, right? But here your return profile is increasing a lot. And long-term investing is a very good idea, especially for people who have a lot of capital to constantly keep buying stocks. So for them, people who have more like crores and crores of rupees, multiple crores, or at least more than 10 crore to invest in the stock market, they don't really need to worry about churning their capital to grow their money faster. But if you're somebody who is not an HNI, who has less than 10 crore worth, then using or developing the skill of swing trading can lead to exponential gains. However, that being said, I have to tell you that it's not an easy skill, because when you go to swing trade in the stock market, you cannot trade on the basis of just one observation. Now, in order to make this example very simplistic, I've given you the example of exponential moving average, okay? But in reality, when I do the swing trade in this stock, for instance, Abbott in Abbott India, I actually do trading very frequently. Let me go back and open the spot chart, because I've opened the futures chart, so you're not able to see any of my markings and drawings on the chart. All right, so this is the Abbott India chart, as you can see. Okay, so this is the 75-minute time frame, and you can see that there is a lot of trading data captured here in the form of these green and red dots, and there is a lot of analysis, trend lines, more indicators available here. You can also see some of the pins which indicate where I have given calls to my members to enter and exit the stock. Now, obviously, even though I am talking about swing trader, I am myself a learner of this art. However, I would say that compared to any other retail trader out there, I would consider myself to be maybe 5 steps ahead, even though I have miles ahead to go in perfecting the art of swing trading. Despite of that, what I have seen that if I treat swing trading in the stock market as a full blown business, okay, so what are we trying to do in the business? We have a very limited capital to begin with. You can start any business from as little as 2-3 lakh rupees, right? Same goes with, or not any business, there are businesses that can be started with a very small capital of even 2-3 lakh rupees. Same goes with swing trading in the stock market, okay? The difference is that in swing trading, you need very specific knowledge. What do I mean by specific knowledge? You need to know about technical analysis. You need in-depth knowledge of technical analysis. For me personally, I have seen that even though I started off in the corporate world, I started analyzing or doing technical analysis when I was in high school. So it's been nearly 12 years since I have been practicing this. And over the years, having studied the field, having practiced, having studied charts for like, I don't know, maybe more than 20,000 hours in this lifetime, I can say that I have developed an in-depth intuition. And this in-depth intuition is helping me manage not just my portfolio, but my family's portfolio and now my clients' portfolios as well. So if you are somebody who's doing technical analysis on their own, I'm going to tell you at the onset that it's not as easy as it looks. What are some of the things that I look at in order to do swing trading in the stock market? And if you are interested in becoming a swing trader full-fledged, if you want to learn from me, then you need to join my Telegram channel. I'll be sharing the link in the comment and more information about that at the end of the session. But if you want to develop the skill set on your own, then what are the topics that you need to begin with? What are the topics that you need to gain expertise in and why? Okay, I'll tell you about that now. So the first thing is volume. Okay. So what is volume? You see this tiny little this tiny little drawing on my chart at the bottom. So this is the volume. These faded out lines are actually the volume bars. Okay. I keep them a little bit transparent because when I do my volume analysis, I don't use this raw volume data anymore. I have graduated, or rather I have upgraded my volume analysis to using this MACD histogram of the volume data. So volume analysis, volume profile analysis is one skill set that you really need to develop. Why? Because volume tells you a lot. Okay, it's like that silent whisperer that will not scream out, but it will tell you very important messages about how strong the trend is or whether the trend is going to reverse or not. Now, again, volume analysis on the basis of a single bar doesn't work. You need to take into consideration the volume analysis of the past 2-3 strong uptrends and downtrends, and then you need to analyze what the stock is showing right now makes sense or not. Then, after the volume analysis, you also need to achieve a strong hold on some momentum indicator. I personally prefer to use RSI, which is what you're seeing at the bottom. So this is the RSI chart, and you can see there are multiple lines of multiple colors. So this is called superimposition. This is something that I have invented or come up with myself because I really felt getting an idea of RSI from different time frames would improve my analysis, and it has improved my analysis. My entry has improved to the point where I can claim that I give entries and stock ideas at near bottom to my members of the Trade Together program, which is nothing more than a swing trading recommendation membership, where if you subscribe, you get a certain number of active positions at any point of time. And within that, I tell you exactly how to manage the risk. That is what stop loss you have to maintain, what risk reward ratio is being offered by the trade setup, when it's a good time to revise your stop loss, and exactly what level you need to revise your stop loss to, how to use bracket orders. And I also give you a small remark so that, if you're interested in knowing what was a technical stimulus that made me give the idea to you. Now, there's always a bunch of it. So I share, in few words, few lines, those impulses. So momentum indicator is the next thing that you have to achieve a strong hold in. So I personally, what I have seen is that doing momentum analysis in combination with volume analysis and price action analysis gives me a pretty good indication of where the market or any particular stock is going to move, right? Next thing that I like to look at is the exponential moving averages. So I primarily use 4-5 different moving averages, starting from 20, moving on to 50, 100, 200, and 500. Now, there is a mathematical reason behind using each of these time frames. These periods of EMA that I use, the EMA is also superimposed on chart across different time frames, okay? Because again, it's very important to know where important support resistance are being formed. So support resistance is the next thing that you need to have a very good stronghold on. And for the purpose of support resistance, merely using a formula based or generated support resistance is not good enough. You need to refer to multiple points or multiple strongholds for support resistance. So if you're just seeing a pivotal support resistance and depending on that, it's not going to be enough. You need to make sure whether there is a key moving average passing through the price, um, on a particular time frame. It may be on the 15-minute, it may be on the 75-minute, it may be on the daily time frame. But if it's a major EMA, that is a 200 or the 500 EMA, then it is going to have an impact on the price of your underlying. And if you're not mindful about them, you will either be missing your entry/exit or you will be setting wrong stop losses. And I will give you an example of that. So I gave a stock idea to my members in one of the stocks, and in the market volatility that we experienced in the last few days, right, the stop loss that was given to my members was missed by mere 30 paisa points. That's it. That is 6 ticks. So if the price had fallen down just 6 more ticks, my stop loss would have been triggered, but that did not happen. And why is that? Because when I set the stop loss, I took into consideration a lot of points which are very important to make sure that your stop losses also don't get triggered unnecessarily, and at the same time you don't risk too much capital by taking a huge buffer on the stop loss, because if you do that, then your risk reward ratio is going to go against you. In addition to that, one more thing that I have already mentioned to you is the time frames. So if you look at my layout, so I prefer to use 6 different time frames. Out of these 6 time frames, 2 are very rarely used, which are the extreme time frames of 3-minute and monthly chart. So I refer to them very, very rarely, but they are still an important part of my setup. The most important time frame is the 75-minute time frame, followed by the 15 and the daily time frame respectively, right? The weekly and the monthly time frame help me establish the primary bull trend of any stock. Okay, so these are the things that you need to really be on top of to begin with. And of course, अगर swing trading कर रहे हैं तो psychology, trading mindset, strategy, stop loss strategy, target strategy, all of that comes into consideration. Then there is a qualitative aspect also to this. For example, what are the stocks that you're participating in? What is the market cap? How are you following sector rotation? So as you can already guess, there is just too much to do. And from what I have learned as a full-time trader, full-time analyst, so I have been to both sides of the fence. I have also been a service provider. Before being a service provider, I was also moonlighting as a technical analyst, as a trader, as majority of the viewers must be experiencing, right? The problem with that was the amount of work that goes into trading in the market, analyzing stocks, executing, reconciling your trades, doing your past trade analysis, the amount of work and the kind of hours that it needs. It is very easy to lose control of what you're doing and let the quality of your participation deteriorate. This is the reason why I started my company in the first place, so that I can be the guide to retail traders who are struggling and who've basically bitten down more than they can chew on. Nobody likes to be in that scenario. How am I doing that? I'm doing that through the Trade Together program, which is a monthly subscription or an annual subscription program in which you basically join me as a client, and I give you services. So if you want to know more about that, just join my Telegram channel, because I don't want to bore you all with the information about that. The best way to connect with me and know more about the Trade Together program is to join this channel. You simply need to go on Telegram and search Trade with Kavita. Kavita is my name. Enter and you will be able to join this. Telegram channel pretty easily. So this is the link. If you don't have Telegram, then you can just download it. I'm also pasting the link in the comment section for you to click on. Now I'm aware that, so I'm in my hometown, which is like a very small village. So my internet quality is really bad today. And I'm sorry if you're buffering on this. If you're interested in seeing a high quality, low buffer version of this, then please wait for an hour after the session ends. And I promise I will upload the recorded session so you can get a high quality experience of this. All right. So this is what I had to talk about swing trading. I wanted to show to you that it has immense potential and it does not need you to be very active in trading, because managing a position or managing say 5 positions or 10 positions or 15 positions at a time with proper risk management, proper capital allocation is not a very big deal. Uh, Only if you have an active advisor who's giving you the right guidance in the stock market, because trust me, the stock market can be really volatile. We got an experience of that just few weeks ago, or rather just few days ago, when the war started in Israel, and we know that the market gave a big gap down. Now, in my Telegram channel, there was a lot of frenzy. Everybody started asking, is this the end of the world? Is market going to crash because of this? But I was very convinced that this was not going to lead to any weakness. In fact, to be honest, the war that started off, it did not have much of a negative impact whatsoever. The correction that we saw, the only impact it had was that the correction that was already expected in the market after this massive rally, right? This correction happened in the form of a gap down instead of a slide down. All right, you can see this green bar. This has been drawn since weeks on my chart, and 19,500 was the support that I had given, and just from there the market started to rally really beautifully, and today we have closed at 19,800 plus. 19,600 was also the most important resistance that I was seeing. And now that it has been breached and market has gone up, in my opinion, it is the beginning of a fresh new trend. And the fresh new trend from my side had been announced when Nifty took a support at 19,350. And I had been telling everybody that 19,200 is a strong support. So don't worry, as long as that is, set. To my members, I've been advising to buy stocks. So those who listened to me and created a strong portfolio on the basis of my recommendations are already sitting on massive 5 to 6% gains in their portfolio. So one of the clients also shared a screenshot with me, and his portfolio grew by 5% in just one day because he had the right bets made in the portfolio as per my recommendations. Okay, so with this, I have come to an end of the session. And I've talked about why swing trading is the best skill for you to develop, especially if you want to grow your financial strengths. That being said, it's not an easy skill to develop. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of guidance. And if you have a mentor to take you through the journey, it becomes a lot more easier, because once you have the foundation of technical analysis, having a mentor to show you the way, the practical application of your theoretical knowledge can really shorten your very, very steep market learning curve. And just 2 weeks back, I've started a advanced technical analysis training program. Again, more information about that on my Telegram channel. Now, before I go, I would like to take 15 minutes to help you out with your stock queries. So if you have stock queries, please mention the name of the stock and the cost price in the comment, and I will take a look at that and help you out with your stock queries. The idea is to give you a proper stop loss and target so that you know what is happening with your capital. Because the moment you lose control of your capital is going to start diminishing in the market. And if you want to be successful in the market, there's just one mantra: keep your losses under control. When you keep your losses under control, when you don't let the losers stick in your portfolio, your profit automatically grows. But when you let the losers survive in the portfolio, you automatically start cutting profitable positions. Why is that? There's a very neat psychological trick in this. You start cutting your profitable positions because you want that validation of having made some money. You want worth for your time, for your effort, for your energy in the market. That is the reason why you start cutting off your profitable positions. And as you might guess, this is not a healthy behavior at all. This goes against everything that market psychology defines. So if you want to learn more of these stuff, if you want my direct guidance or want to get connected with me, you know what to do. Now let's move on to the comments and see if we have any queries. All right, so we have a lot of queries on Economic Times website, which is amazing. Let's see. We have lots of queries are coming in. So Mr. Krishna, hello to you. Virajji, hello. Rameshji, hello. Thank you so much for joining the session. Mr. Bhaskar has asked about Suprajit. So he wants to know whether he can hold or he should sell Suprajit. Let's take a quick look. All right. So this is the 3-minute time frame. Let's go to higher time frames. All right. So considering that, the stock has not moved up quite a bit, I'm guessing that you might have probably bought it at a lower level, but the stock, it's been sliding up, not a lot of momentum there, but it has been, I would say, nudging upwards. What I can see is that the underlying trend is still quite strong, and it's also taking support at the 200 EMA. A lot of people call this narrow range, right? So usually a strong breakout happens from this narrow range. And what I am seeing in the volume analysis and momentum analysis, it is expected that the breakout will happen on the upside, right? So I would suggest you to definitely, gosh, my internet is so bad today. Yes. So I would suggest that you keep holding on to the position. I would, however, recommend you to use a stop loss. Now, see, a lot of people will make the mistake of using the stop loss from, a swing low of this range itself, but that would subject you to sure shot stop loss hunting, as a lot of people call it. So it's always better to use one previous swing lower. So your stop loss should be 378 in the stock. That also leaves some buffer. And on the upside, you need to set a target. So I would expect at least, all right, if the stock resumes rally, I would expect it to approach, first of all, this trend line. That is, so 420 becomes your first target. What is your risk reward ratio from here? I can see that we have an upside of around 8% and a downside of around 2.5%. So that gives you a pretty comfortable risk reward ratio of more than 3. Now, in my rule book, I have one thing very clear: never participate in a stock if the risk reward ratio is less than 3. That automatically filters out low quality positions. So that's another rule for swing trading. So this is my analysis of Suprajit for you. Okay, moving on to the next query. Okay. So Neeraj, if you wish to contact me, you can click on the Telegram channel, join my Telegram channel, and over there you can find a one-on-one connect link with me. Alternatively, you can also use the link which has been posted by the ET moderator to book a consultation call with me. All right. So Suprajit done. Okay, lots of queries by Mr. Bhaskar. JSW Steel, he's purchased at 800, Mr. Neeraj. Let's take a quick look at JSW Steel. All right. So again, I see the similar tendency that I saw for JSW Steel in for Abbott India in the chart that I just showed you. I can see that the stock has a strong affinity for the 200 EMA, where it kind of bounces back from it, but it also has a strong affinity for this trend line that you're seeing. It actually has a stronger affinity for this trend line. And now, after a few iterations, what I can see is that the EME and the trend line have pretty much merged, right? And as a result of that, we can expect a strong uptrend. Now, in my client's account, I did a quick 14% profit trade in a matter of 42 days, and we exited near the top in JSW Steel. And now is the time, a very good time to re-enter. There was a negative divergence on the daily time frame, which indicated that this stock was up to no good. It was a very good indication to exit. In fact, some weeks ago, there was somebody else who asked about JSW Steel, and I told them that there is a strong, there's some correction expected, and 750 would be a good, roughly a good level to re-enter. Now we can see that the re-enter has been triggered. So considering that you're holding the stock at 800, so you're in a little bit of loss, but I would suggest that you continue to hold it. Naturally, you need to use a stop loss. So you can use the stop loss of, let's see, yeah, here the red line is already drawn. So 734 should be your stop loss for this stock. And I would expect a target of around 850 here. So let's look at your risk reward ratio being offered by this. Okay, it's around 5% of stop loss, and the upside is just 11%. So considering that the price has already moved up slightly, I would not suggest anyone to enter right now. But on the other hand, if the stock, that would be a better, actually not 770, 760. That would be a good level to enter. So 760, 765, 766, that's a good level to enter. But entering now, okay, so let's move on to the next query. JSW Steel, Ambuja Cement at 430. Should I hold till result? Ambuja Cement. Pretty strong up move already happening here, which is expected. So this green thing that you're seeing, right, the rectangle, this is Ambuja Cement, and what see, this is my penultimate stop loss level on the stock. Okay, so, and I think there is a really strong underlying bull trend in the stock. So I would not suggest a fresh entry because I think it's a little bit late, but at least 475, it can also go up to 525. The stop loss for you in this stock would be, okay, higher. Your stop loss would be around 411. So as you might guess, the risk reward ratio is obviously not going to be attractive at this point of time, but since you already have a position, you should plus that I have mentioned of 410, 411. All right, let's so we have Mr. Krishna. He's asking for Reliance. For short term, what is the stop loss in the target? He's bought it at 2352. Reliance, 2352. 2352, small loss on the position, but I can see that Reliance has given a pretty healthy correction. And you see these drawings, the circles, the circle exists here because just some sessions back, someone else asked me for Reliance, mood building up in the stock, and this green zone was acting as a strong resistance, right? And what I can see is that action is over and the stock is ready to resume the rally again. Okay, I can see the daily chart has given some correction. The weekly chart is, so there is a positive range shift in this positive range shift also. And okay, so this is a good time to actually, you should, however, please maintain a stop loss of 2253 here. And on the upside, you can expect the entire correction to basically, there is a strong resistance around the level of 2426. or 2425 or 2424, if it helps you, doesn't matter, 1-2 points don't matter, but there is a strong resistance basically above say 2400. Make sure to revise your stop loss to 2330 immediately, okay, to reduce your downside. So when if say a stock goes a little bit up and comes down, if your focus is on reducing downside, then you will see that even the stocks where your stop losses are getting triggered, you're either, so the active positions that I give to my members in the Trade Together program, what I do is, after I've given the stock idea to them, initially I keep, right? After that, as soon as the stock starts moving in, I don't immediately revise the stop loss. I revise the stop loss once the stock has scaled, come down in order to take a breather. It will have a support to hold itself. Now, what happens is that if I revise the stop loss, very, very natural phenomena in the market, my stop loss will get triggered unnecessarily. Okay, so that's just a little food for Reliance. Okay, so we have a query on Ashoka by Vibha. All right, so we can see a strong rally has started to unfold in Ashoka, which is great, at the level of 132. As you can see, there is a strong trend line there. That being said, the underlying momentum and the volume remains fabulous. So I do the 200 or the 20 EMA. Basically, we can expect some correction in the stock between the range of 118 to 107. And Shoka, right? You need to make sure that you're maintaining a stop loss at the level of 100 or maybe few points below it, like 99.5. Why? Because 100 is a very strong psychological level. So you don't want to, challenge that level. On the upside, I think the stock has a pretty good momentum going on, which can take the stock as high as 175. So that becomes your target. So you know your stop loss is 100 and your target is 175. Swing trading, because it just gives very well-defined movements. Okay, so what I can see that the stock has started moving up into some correction, well-deserved correction. It's given a strong rally. Okay, right now I am convinced that a strong rally of 60% in like I would say 160 days is like 150 days is around like correcting just yet. I think it can go back to retest the trend line at 82. So if you have an active position, my friend, I would suggest you to please book your profit. Okay, I request everyone to please post your stock query just once. If you post it multiple times, it makes navigating the comments really hard for me, because honestly, the interface is not the Need to do a quick switch here. All right, let's see. We have an analysis request for HUL. So Abhay, I recently analyzed HUL, so I'll tell you my view. See, stock, it's a great company, but it's a really, really slow moving stock. So basis my analysis, I am seeing around 6 to 7% upside, but over the next 2 months. So I personally don't prefer to trade in stocks like that. Your next query is AWL. So to all retail traders, my advice is that please don't hold on to Adani stocks. It looks very attractive. It sounds really good, but it's not worth it. So please stay away from companies which have very evident corporate governance issues. Don't go with what the broad media says. You need to use your own common sense. Next query that you asked is ICICI. So for ICICI, please join my Telegram channel because there are a lot of other people and we need to be fair. So Abhay, I hope you will join the Telegram channel because after the session, I will be posting the analysis of ICICI in the channel. Okay, so we have Anu and a lot of other people asking about Bharat Forge. So let's quickly take up Bharat Forge. Okay. All right, so we see a strong rally gone behind. We are unfortunately behind on the rally in Bharat Forge. Now, if you look at this chart of Bharat Forge, like I know it looks a little bit messy, there are too many trend lines, but if you just focus on the price action, what you'll see is that Bharat Forge is a very swingy stock, okay? And the fact that it has given a massive swing already, and not just the swing, it has also started to show negative divergence here, negative divergence, like it showed a negative divergence here, right? And after that, it went into correction. So I don't expect Bharat Forge to be able to overcome the resistance of around 1170. On the other hand, I would expect the stock to take a massive correction and come down to as low as maybe 900. And this is purely on the basis of what I'm seeing in the charts, right? So I am personally not very bullish on the stock. If it goes above the level of 1180, then I might reassess it. But until and unless that happens, I am going to stay away from making a fresh position in Bharat Forge. Now, if you're liking the analysis and if you find value in what I'm saying, please give a thumbs up to this live stream. I would really appreciate it. BHAL. Okay, so I am very bullish on BHAL right now. I think the stock can be, so it's a little, it's, I mean, it's not late. It's not late to buy the stock, but you have to make sure that you use the stop loss at around 124 in BHAL. And on the upside, I can see that the stock has strong enough momentum to carry it at least up to the level of 170, 180. Now, when that target comes closer, then I would like to reassess the stock again. Whew. All right, I am genuinely out of breath. So with this, I am going to have to call it a day because I have some other commitments in 2 minutes. So I need to hop. If you have asked stock queries which have not been answered, please do me the favor of joining the Telegram channel, and in the chat group, you can post your stock names. When I get free, I will get back to you and respond to your stock queries. Now, last few days I was a little unwell, so if your stock queries have got unanswered on the Telegram channel, please do me the favor of reposting that. And as soon as I get time, I will make sure that your queries are answered. So with this, I will take your leave. I will see you again on Friday in the Market Outlook session where I do live analysis of Nifty and Bank Nifty. If you go on my YouTube channel and check out the past sessions, you will see that the levels I've been giving on the Market Outlook series has been pretty spot on. Other than Nifty, Bank Nifty, we also discuss the intersector analysis. So intersector chart analysis gives us a lead analysis or lead idea of which stocks are coming into momentum, which are the stocks going out of momentum. So during that analysis, I also share my viewpoint on which sector is expected to come in. And over the last few weeks, we've managed to capture rally in sectors like banking, sectors like metals, realty sector, infra sector, energy sector, pharma sector, and many other sectors. So if you go to the Market Outlook series videos playlist on YouTube, you'll be able to see the past analysis and get a good idea of what my work is all about. All right, so with this, I will take your leave. Thank you so much for giving me your time and attention. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Namaste.